A mirror can tell us a lot about ourselves. It can reveal the attitude written on our face. It can remind us of our scars, both physical and mental. If we're being honest, sometimes we like our reflection, and sometimes we don't. When Elizabeth Galvan looks in the mirror, she's reminded of the scars on her body, her missing arm, and her fading vision. But that's only part of her story, a story that she'd like you to hear, despite not being able to hear herself. March 12th, 1979. It was the day Elizabeth Galvan entered the world, a world that early on brought more pain than peace.
When I was 11 months old at the time, my parents were married at the time. She was an unfit mother. She was an active alcoholic and a user. She was dealing with addiction. And at 11 months, I almost starved to death. She would leave me in the crib for days at a time. And then parents on my dad's side found me in the crib had just been neglected there.
When Elizabeth turned 3 years old, her life once again took a dramatic turn.
I had had an illness with a high fever. And at that time, the medical advances weren't there either for treating it. And as a result, I became deaf.
At an age when a child's development is typically peaking, Elizabeth was experiencing more and more dramatic setbacks. For nearly 2 years, she had no contact with her biological mom, but after some convincing, Elizabeth's mom was allowed to spend time with her 3-year-old daughter for Mother's Day.
My dad had said, sure, out of respect for my mom, that they would. And then that's when this happened. They had an old-fashioned wringer washing machine. That's how my arm got stuck in the wringing portion of it. And so I was stuck at this angle, and it started to keep wringing, and it went for several hours like that. So they went to the hospital. They had gone to a couple of different hospitals trying to save my arm. They took skin off my thigh and off my mid-abdomen and along the side of my chest area. But they also thought, because it's a 3-year-old body, that's a lot of skin to lose. So at that point, they decided to amputate to save my life.
Before her 4th birthday, Elizabeth had experienced starvation, neglect, became deaf, and lost a limb.
I remember growing up, it was difficult. They had old school technology, as far as prosthetics were concerned, just a hook. And of course, they would mock me. Oh, there goes the hook girl.
Elizabeth battled thoughts of anger and frustration for most of her childhood. It wasn't until her teenage years that her fighter personality started to take shape.
I didn't want anybody to label me as handicapped and therefore saying I can't do this or that. So my attitude really changed and I started to rebel more, but in a good way, to say, no, wait, hold on, I can do this myself.
Like a weight lifted off her shoulders, Galvan began to live a more driven life, ensuring that her disabilities wouldn't define her. As a single mom, she cooked, she cleaned, and she provided while raising her now 17-year-old daughter, Brianna.
She's part of the National Honor Society as well. I'm really proud of her. She's doing phenomenal in school. So this is one proud mom here.
A proud mom and a pumped up mom. In a place that can make so many feel insecure about their body, Galvan finds comfort, peace, and pride.
And I know that people are probably talking to, and they're shocked to see, oh, she's doing this or she's doing that. And that inspires me to keep going.
So how does a one-armed deaf woman develop a passion for weightlifting? There's a story behind that too. Usher's syndrome has caused Elizabeth's vision to gradually worsen her entire life, getting to the point where she has very narrow tunnel vision. Those vision issues played a role in a serious car accident in 2015.
There was a driver that T-boned me, and as a result, it crushed my spine. I had to go through intensive therapy.
But when therapy wasn't enough, surgery was her only hope.
It was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call to have a healthy lifestyle, to take care of yourself, because I am getting older.
Elizabeth made decisions. One was to give up driving. Another was to get in better shape. And eventually, with encouragement from others, she discovered a new passion, becoming a bodybuilder.
At first, I have to admit, I thought, oh please, bodybuilding, it's just a way to show off your muscles and a way to get some attention. But when I started to do the research, I realized that wasn't true. It makes you healthier just all around for life. Not just physically healthier, but mentally too, especially as we age. So there's more to it than just the physique part of it.
Galvan has competed in several beauty pageants and physique competitions, most recently winning multiple awards in 2018, including the Inspiration Award at the Upper Midwest region of the National Physique Competition. You'd think that a glance in the mirror would bring up bad memories of what she's endured. But if you think that, you don't know Elizabeth Galvan.
Sometimes people see the end result but don't know what I've been through as well. But I have a full story, a rich story. I could have portrayed myself as the victim, but I chose not to. I chose to portray myself as a fighter and a survivor and a warrior and a strong, deaf woman of steel.
Elizabeth eventually contacted her mom again when she was in high school and was able to get a sense of closure to the hurt she experienced by offering forgiveness. Here's what she said about that.
We can't blame people who are suffering from mental illness, and it's not our job to judge them. A lot of times they can't even take care of themselves and can't take care of their children either. I don't hate her. Not at all. I love her.
That's a message that's good for all of us to hear. Also, I should mention Elizabeth plans to return to the stage to compete in bodybuilding in April for the NPC Upper Midwest Championships, which will be hosted in Fargo. So good luck to her.
Thanks for watching Midco Sports Magazine. You can find this episode and all episodes on YouTube and IGTV.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.